Okay, so here's a video on how to square the club face at impact and release the hands. If you have a weak grip, as most people do nowadays, you're going to need to bow and supinate the lead forearm more to square the club face at impact. Now, this doesn't just happen at impact, and I'll show you why. If we look at the top of the backswing, as we start the downswing with lateral bend and external rotation of the shoulder, we're going to see that it opens the club face. So we're going to need to bow the wrists early with these two movements. So if I do it again properly, as I do these two movements, I'm going to start bowing the lead wrist to get the club face square. So from here I can just rotate my body through. Stronger grip players require the same movements to square the club face, but because the lead hand is more on top of the grip, it requires less motion to square the club face. If we go back here and just turn the wrist slightly into a bow position, it's already enough to square the club face. As we can see here, the glove is still pointing at the camera, and sometimes this wrist bone here is still going to look slightly cupped. It's just because it requires less range of motion for a stronger grip player to bow the hands to square the club face at impact. So if you're struggling hitting the ball straight, it's actually easier to play with a slightly stronger grip, so you can move the hand into a bowed position to keep the club face square at impact. So here's a drill on how to practice these movements. We're going to basically take a very small backswing where the toe is facing up and slightly open, and then to start the downswing we're going to bow the wrist so it's facing more down at the ground or the golf ball, and then drive the hands through with rotation, holding the wrist in this bowed position all the way through to past impact. So if I just do one here, notice I've kept the wrist in this bowed position and I've rotated my body through. I'm forcing my arm as well away from my body. This is right arm abduction. This is also another move to basically hold the club face as square for as long as possible. This is going to help hold the club face square for longer, so you're going to have less club face closure, so you'll hit straighter shots and have more consistency.